Now that you have chosen your topic, conducted your research, and pored over your research to make sure you have all 4 kinds of supporting materials, you're ready to structure your speech and work on your formal and keyword outlines. It may seem backwards to you, but the best place to start when you are writing your speech outline is with the body. You can always come back and write the introduction and conclusion once you have figured out the rest of the speech. Before you can launch into the first line of your speech, though, you'll need to decide on a few specifics. First, you'll need a specific purpose statement. In my case, I would use the following specific purpose statement: to inform my audience about the process of organ donation. Next, you'll need a thesis statement. In my case, I would use the following thesis statement: organ donation requires planning, follows a set of strict guidelines, and has many benefits. Finally, you would need to decide a method of speech design. In my case, I have chosen a sequential method of design. I'm going to talk about what happens before you donate, the planning, what happens during donation, the execution of the process, and what happens after the procedure, the benefits. Because I said in my specific purpose statement that I was going to inform my audience about the process of organ donation, my speech design was already chosen. Anytime you're talking about a process, you're talking about steps that need to be followed in a specific sequence. I could have written a different specific purpose statement and chosen another speech design. Here are some examples. To inform my audience about the history of organ donation. That's chronological. Here, I would talk about the procedure itself and how it has changed over the years. To inform my audience about organ donation around the world. Spatial. Here, I would organize my speech by geographic region. To inform my audience about donating a heart versus donating a kidney. Comparative. And to inform my audience about organ donation in America. Categorical. Here I would discuss various categories relating to organ donation, like cost, time, benefits, and drawbacks. As you can see, almost any method of design will work for any topic. The important thing to understand is that method of design is related to your thesis sentence and to your specific purpose statement. Once you have narrowed your topic and decided exactly what you want to talk about, you can choose the appropriate design method. Once you have your specific purpose statement, your thesis sentence, and your method of design, you're ready to write the speech, beginning with the body. Typically, the body of a speech contains 2 to 5 main points. Given the time limit of 5 to 6 minutes for this speech, your best bet is to develop 3 main points. Any more than that, and you won't be able to cover them in any sort of depth. Any fewer than that, and you'll run out of things to talk about. Remember that the order of your main points is determined by the method of design you have chosen. Remember, too, that you should be able to state each main point in a single sentence. The body of the speech also needs to be roughly equal in length. Each main point needs to be about as long as the point that came before it and should cover the same basic amount of information. Because your speech needs to flow logically from point to point, it's really important that you have transitions between your main points. Remember that transitions have 2 main jobs. They need to review the main point you have just covered and preview the one that's coming up. In my speech about the process of organ donation, I might use the following transition between my first and second main point. Now that I have explained to you the steps you need to take before you become an organ donor, I will tell you about the actual process itself. Logically, in this second main point about the process, I'll probably have 2 main subpoints: how organ donation works when the donor is deceased, and how organ donation works when the donor is alive. Through all of your main points, it's really important to keep using the types of supporting materials we talked about earlier, and to make sure to cite your sources. Remember, you need to tell your audience where you got the information for your speech, because the audience only gets to hear the speech. If you cited your sources on paper like you do in a term paper, your audience would never get to see or hear them. That's why it's important to clearly state where you got your information. This lets the audience know that you have a credible speech. After you've crafted the body of your speech, including main points, subpoints, subpoints, you are ready to return to the beginning of the speech and write your introduction. According to your textbook, a successful speech introduction contains several important features. First, they need to capture the attention of the audience. You can do this in any number of ways, and you should consult your text for an extended list. Next, you need to establish your credibility as a speaker. Third, you need to preview the main points of your speech. I would say, today I'm going to tell you about the process of organ donation. First, I will tell you about the steps you need to take before you donate. Next, I will tell you how the process itself works. And third, I will tell you what happens after you donate an organ. The speech conclusion is in many ways a mirror of the introduction. You should begin the conclusion by reviewing your speech. This is like a preview in reverse. After you review your speech, you need to make your concluding remarks. The text lists several ways that you can do this, but I think that referring back to your introduction is a nice way to bookend your speech. After you've decided what information you want in your intro and in your conclusion and in the body of your speech, you're ready to develop your formal and keyword outlines. I will direct you to your textbook, which offers sample outlines, and to the outline handout distributed in your classroom. I will also remind you to check out this week's supplemental online resources to help you properly format your outline. Remember, the formal outline is the one that uses full sentences, is posted on the discussion board, and is due the week before your speech. The keyword outline is the brief outline. It's what you speak from on your speech day, and it's to be turned in when your speech is due. It's important that you use your textbook to format both of these outlines because there are specific guidelines that your text can help you with. Remember, the formal outline is the full sentence outline that your instructor grades and your peers give you feedback on. The keyword outline is the brief outline that you take up with you to the front of the room when you make your speech.